this is sort of the inherent problem with professional team sports, is that there is a hierarchy and there is a finite amount of resources to hand out amongst the players. And, if you're a tennis guy, if you're a golfer and you want to pursue greatness, you can do that in a very selfish way, and that's fine. But if you choose to do that in a team sport in a very selfish way, that creates problems. It definitely creates problems.
That's why Rod Thorne said to David Falk, "You're trying to make my guy into a tennis player."
Yeah.
He didn't care if Michael had a good backhand. He's talking about the fact that he didn't want this to rip apart the locker room. And maybe we didn't do a good enough job diving into that. But that is what Rod meant, is that there's going to be resentment in the locker room. And early on, I think that there was, to a certain extent, there was kind of especially with an organization like the Bulls back then, who were mediocre at best, there was an understanding that it's practice and you're going to go through the motions. And certainly you don't want a rookie. It's like when you go play pickup and you're like, just some guy's picking you up full court, like all right, just calm down. That was Michael coming in. He said, first day, I'm identifying the best guy on the team and I'm going after him. Then I'm going after the best guy at my position. Like, he came in guns blazing, but he was so good that he gained their respect. But early on, I'm sure they were like, I've talked to guys who were on that team, like, was there resentment? Yes. And there are some guys who are no longer with us, so I think could have spoken even better to it. That's one of the things we don't cover in this, and I'm surprised that people haven't brought it up yet. I'm sure they have somewhere that I haven't seen, is the supposed freeze out in '85 at the All-Star game. So that may or may not have existed. All the research that I've done says that it did not. They clearly were kind of arching their eyebrows at this kid who came in with his own shoe deal, wearing his own warm-ups to the dunk contest. Everyone else was on Converse then, except for like Gervin and Moses, I think, had Nike deals, wearing gold chains. I think Isaiah's version of this, or if you talk to someone about Isaiah's version of this, is that in the elevator at the All-Star game, they didn't speak to each other, and Isaiah thought that was arrogant and aloof. Michael's version, I know, is I didn't know what to say. Like, I was just kind of like, I was thrilled to be there. He said, I went out and I bought a fur coat. I invited my whole family. I couldn't believe that I was now part of this fraternity. So he thought it was out of respect that he didn't want to bother Isaiah Thomas on the elevator. It wasn't like I'm better than you. But he also scored 4 points or 7 points or something. He scored enough points in an All-Star game for a rookie that he couldn't have been frozen out. And also, you can't, as a Magic Johnson can't freeze Michael Jordan out from the other bench. Like that, it doesn't make sense. Isaiah did say on record with me in the interview, he said, I was not Isaiah Thomas yet. This is the '85 All-Star game. Okay. I'm in a locker room with Larry Bird. Gervin was in that locker room. Who else would have been in the East locker room at that point? Dr. J. Like, he said, you think I'm going to go around and tell Larry Bird to freeze this kid out? I didn't have the clout to do that. So it's a convenient story. Michael said he wasn't aware of it until he came back to Chicago and everyone asked him about this freeze out. And he said, I don't know what you're talking about, but it pissed him off. So he went, they played Detroit first game after the break. And Michael, in his words in the interview to us, said, okay, I'll show you a freeze out. 49. He had the ability, just if he got pissed, he could flip a switch and say, okay, don't forget.
The vindictiveness is on another level. I love it. I love it. I was once frozen out of an All-Star game. True story.
Really?
Not an NBA All-Star game, but yeah, I was.
By
Carmelo. At least that's what was told to me.
What was the reason?
So you could play in 2 All-Star games as a senior in high school. So we go to the McDonald's game in New York City, and it was like Melo, Amari, and Rashad McCants were on my team, and they all had like pretty good games. But I got the MVP, and I don't even know if I really deserved the MVP because a lot of my threes that I hit we were already up like 15, 20 points. But I had like 26 points. I get the MVP. So then the next week we go to the Jordan game in Washington, D.C. And what was told to me by 2 different guys on the team was that Melo was going around telling people, JJ's not going to get the MVP again. I'm taking every shot. And if you look at the box score, I'm just saying. I have no ill will towards Melo. What?
You never asked him about it?
No, I've never asked him about it.
We're going to ask him about it on this show. He's going to come on the show. I
want to actually know if he actually did tell people that, though. He took like 26. He took like 26 shots that game. I think I took like 7
in an all-star game.
In an all-star game, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.